Thank you to Hungry Root and Built Rewards for sponsoring today's episode.
But ice sculptures are like thousands of dollars, which I was like $300 for a joke ice sculpture. I'll pay it.
That's a good idea.
But I was like, it is.
But I
was like, I underestimated how expensive ice sculptures are.
How much is
really
ice?
It's like $1,000 minimum. I'm not paying that.
We could all chip in.
It's gonna melt.
What if you put a basket at the door that says
tip,
like 10% of your monthly earnings, like church?
That's not bad. Yeah, tip for the.
If I got you an ice sculpture, would that be a good gift?
It'd be a great gift.
Okay.
Do you think offering 10% to the church is like is the idea that like God's your agent and he's like helping your life be good, so he deserves 10%?
He's managing you,
right?
He's sort of like, oh well, like I kind of made water.
I'm shifting time for you to win the football game.
It's a lot of work behind the scenes, but like if you email me, I might not respond.
Right.
I like the idea of an ice sculpture with a tip jar in front of it.
I think it's a good idea.
Tipping the ice sculpture.
What if you get an ice luge and we can do shots from a bone marrow? You know how they do that?
Yeah, bone marrow. I was thinking about doing that, but with dry ice.
If I
we do shots off of dry ice.
It'll burn everyone.
Don't get too close.
Okay, so this is your birthday. If I brought an activity, like a special drink,
like spin the bottle.
Setup,
well, it's not going to be like one of your fuck arounds, so it's sort of a black tie affair.
This is going to be classy. This is going to be classy.
There's going to be poker.
No, I
should I show up with like a tray of little hors d'oeuvres and walk around?
100 million.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can do that.
That is so funny. Honestly, I was even thinking, I was like, I hired a bartender, and I was like, she's going to be making cocktails and stuff, and I was like, I also was like, maybe me and my friends could at different points put on a little serving outfit and then walk around with a platter.
Like champagne.
On a platter.
You know when you go to a bar and they have the shot girl that has like test tubes in around her waist, like kind of in a holster.
Right.
If I do that and I sell them, is that fair game for me to make money at your party?
Sell shots, I think that everyone will feel sad for you.
What if they're Jello shots?
So there will be Jello shots.
What if I sell what if I sell premium Jello shots?
How like it's a nice liquor,
gold flakes on top.
I think that you need to find a demographic.
Goldschlager.
That makes sense to me, because to me, Goldschlager
already has gold flakes.
Has gold flakes in it. There is something funny about like this is top shelf Jello.
This is Grey Goose.
This is Grey Goose. Grey Goose. Jello shots really funny. I mean, I do think that I've come around on Jello shots.
If they feel appropriate for you, because you love the slurp.
I love to slurp. I love to tongue, but I've got a big tongue too. And I kind of abandoned them for a while because I was like, Jello shots, who wants to do those? And now I'm back around where I'm kind of like, it's kind of fun.
Now they sell them in stores like already made. Have you seen that?
Pre-made Jello shots?
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
No. Have you heard about
like
this?
Individually, like they are Jello shots you buy in like a box of 12. And
they're really good to go. You know, sometimes I'm running out the door and I don't have time to make a whole Jello shot breakfast.
You pack your lunch.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Let's just toss a Jello shot in your lunchbox.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into a dilemma. So this is Miles' birthday, black tie affair.
That's right.
And I have a personal issue I don't know how to navigate here. I loaned my suit to a I won't say who, a person,
a friend.
This is my tuxedo, my wedding suit.
Oh wow!
And he wore it to a wedding, and it was dirty. And I said, "Hey, get it dry cleaned, and it's yours to wear, buddy. Go nuts."
Yeah.
He went on to a wedding.
Didn't dry clean.
Returned it. Didn't dry clean it back.
Oh no!
Dry cleaned it for himself. Returned it to me.
Yeah.
And I am like, do I? First of all, now I have to do it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue here is that now I have to go through now they may argue, well, I had to dry clean it for you, but you dry cleaning it for me
you didn't pay for it.
Is the favor of giving you, and so it's days away. I'm not going to get this thing dry. I just know I'm not.
Sound off in the comments if you've been in this situation.
Your expensive tuxedo was loaned to your friend. And he didn't give it back to you the right way.
You're going to so many black tie events. You can't
You only have plenty of time to get it dry cleaned.
I don't want to dry clean anything.
I will say, I understand the experience of, because if you lend a suit to someone and you go to a wedding, by the way, at weddings, I'm getting filthy. I don't know how.
Dancing, sweating.
And my suit now has like a little hole. Like I have one suit and it has holes in the knees and it's like, is it a moth? Was it somebody's cigarette? I don't know. But there's holes in the thing.
Was it a moth cigarette?
A moth smoking a cigarette?
Come on in. There's lamps all over the place in here.
But I did rent a tuxedo. Again, like this was sort of the idea was I'll have a birthday. I'm like, how do I make it unique? There's a lot of parties in my friend group. People have a lot of birthdays at my friend's house, whatever. And I'm like, we've done this so many times. How do I up the stakes here?
We've done birthdays.
We've done birthday, okay? I'm 31 now. And I was like, how do I up the stakes? And to me, black tie is like, it gives the vibe of wedding without it being a wedding.
I think that, okay, so 31, that's when I did my backyard backwards bar mitzvah. And
Backwards bar mitzvah.
'cause
Oh,
it's
yeah.
13,
Great.
31.
The fire alarm.
I think 31.
Oh, my God. I was here. It was really fun.
Featuring the fire alarm.
31 is the suit birthday. You got to get your friends to dress
It's a
up.
prime number.
Wow, that's when you were 31.
Yeah.
And now I'm that age. It feels
Yeah.
like, wow,
100
the
years
passage
ago.
of time.
Yesterday, I realized I was wearing a pair of gym shorts that I've owned for 18 years.
Oh my gosh.
That is extraordinary.
impressive.
How have you not disintegrated them?
Wow.
They're in great shape, too, is the craziest thing. Like, they don't have, there's no imperfection.
Because he doesn't work out.
That's not true. Yeah, you know that's not true.
You're very fit.
But I don't wear those to work out because they're like too long. They're like old. They're old school. So they're like pajama shorts.
Wow, I would love to go through everyone's closet and find the oldest piece of clothing
That's it.
that you own. I have shirts.
Oh, I bet you'd like to go through everyone's closet.
I'd like to go through everybody's
I bet you'd like
clothes
to
and touch them.
get everyone's panties.
Is this one the oldest? It smells pretty old to me.
I was just in your closet. Yeah, I bet you
this.
were.
It looks old. Is it old?
Oh, there's some history to this shirt.
This says 1997.
Where's this stain from?
You have old clothes because your dad has a lot of old concert shirts.
I didn't
cool.
even think about those. Yeah, I mean, those are certainly the oldest I
You got
have.
antique clothing.
I got antique, but I think, like, okay, we all have a vintage shirt. I'm saying the one that's been with you the longest. I have pictures of me in college in a shirt that I own that I will wear on occasion.
How long do you think you'll keep that
Wow.
queef shirt?
That will be a family heirloom.
Yeah.
Sarah did. I was like, Sarah, can you give me a shirt? And she pulled out the Save a Horse Ride a Cousin shirt. She wasn't look at it. And I was like, Sarah, I obviously can't wear that. We're about to go like to a coffee shop.
We're going to church.
I'm going to church, Sarah.
Here's the game plan for today.
Oh,
Let's
boy.
go, Rainie.
1, I have a get to know you question.
Great.
2,
To break the ice.
to break the ice.
Okay, it's about time.
2, I have a headline. And then 3, I have an introspective segment for the 10-year anniversary.
Wow, very nice.
That sounds like a hot app.
It's like a
Big
syllabus. I like this syllabus day in college.
Yeah, that's nice.
I hate to time us out here, but we're in You Can Sit With Us colors.
Oh.
Whoa. Oh, sorry. We were living in You Can
let
Sit
me
With Us
just-
land.
We're just like, what even show are we in?
We should have done Smut of the Week or whatever.
People.
You still doing that? You still doing Smut of the Week?
Hey, when am I going to play that
There we go.
cool video game again?
Oh, yeah. Keith's raring to go with his sexy video game again.
How many do we have enough points to get the day?
You should put that on the streamer because there's no, you can just play a porn game.
Porn Game episode 27.
Honestly, I think there's a huge audience where Keith plays porn game.
It's like the Barkschler, but for you playing
And
at a table.
I
just-
use 0.1% of the streamer's revenue to fund my sexual exploits in the porn game.
Or maybe like
The more subscribers I have, the more boning we all get to have.
25 cents for every viewer of that
that's-
show.
Wow.
That's huge.
That's
I think you'd
too
be
much power.
That's too much money.
Because there's going to be 100 million viewers.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
So the get to know you question is, were you born on your due date?
No, I actually was 2 weeks late. They don't let
2
you do
weeks?
that anymore.
Yeah.
They don't let you do that. But my mom was like, he's cooking. And I was 2 weeks late, which is kind of crazy because now at like, I think a week and a half, maybe just a week, they're like, all right, like it's time to start thinking about induction and whatever. And they are very cautious about it because it can lead with complications and stuff like that.
What do you think you were doing in there?
I was just fucking cooking, dude.
Yeah, you were. This is why your
you're extra
IQ
big.
is up
Yeah,
there.
That's why I'm gigantic.
Extra big. I was a week late.
A week?
What?
All
That's why I'm
late?
just a little
Okay.
bit shorter than you.
Oh, that's if you had cooked for just a second
Just
longer.
a little bit longer, yeah.
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Rainey, were you before Zach answers?
Yes, I got something big to
Please.
say.
Well,
Zach.
Were you early?
you asked me. Go ahead.
I was a day late, and it's really annoying because I was supposed to be born on my mom's birthday. It's 2 hours late, which is classic for me. And so I think I was just like on my way. And so I'm supposed, because my grandma was born on her mom's birthday. I think I was supposed to be born on my mom's birthday, but I was born a day after hers.
Fascinating, Zach.
There's a thing that people. How am I supposed to know when I was expected? I wasn't there.
You never.
You never asked.
Why would I ask? Who gives a shit?
Wow.
Your birth story?
It's because you don't listen, Zach. I'm sure that your sweet mother.
He was born early.
He was born early. Your sweet
The
mother
part
is
of
probably.
his brain that develops to care about
All
this.
right, let's find out what was my due date. What
I'm so curious
was
that you've
my-
never. I honestly, to be fair, only know it because when Julian, we were talking to my mom, and when Sarah was pregnant, and she was like, "Oh, you were 2 weeks late." So pre that, I wouldn't have known.
My mom said I was 10 months late. That's crazy.
Dang, you were cooking.
I was cooking. No, we'll
Cooking in
find out.
there.
Stay tuned.
Shit.
All right. Well,
I have no idea. I've never thought about that in context of myself.
really,
not-
I feel like
not-
your birth story is an important part of it's your genesis.
I've thought. I know like the story, and I know about like, hey, we dropped you. Like when my sister was born, we dropped you off at your grandma's. It was Christmas. We brought the presents. All those things. Like,
That's cute.
but I don't know when I was expected.
Expected, yeah.
Expected.
So you were
also like
yeah.
even the due date is like it's an assumption.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't know exactly when the egg was fertilized.
Yeah.
You
Isn't
don't-
it like it's like less than 50% of people are born on their due date or something?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
wow.
approximation.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's not a real number.
Oh.
Yeah, because
And,
like
yeah.
you don't know if the egg was fertilized the moment you were doing it,
Yeah.
or
Wow.
several hours late. Like sperm can apparently live in there for like a
For like
while.
3 days.
Yeah, they can hang on.
I don't know what they're doing in there.
Partying,
Yeah.
dude. There's millions of them.
Partying is like we're going. Only one of us gets to live.
It's the Hunger Games.
Honestly, that's a good animated movie.
Just the 3 days.
The sperm
3
that
days.
know they weren't chosen.
Yeah.
It's just called 3 days.
It's 3 days, and it's everyone's like, well, who do you think's going to make it this year?
But there's also there is a period after which one is fertilized, and then the rest of the sperm's just like, hey guys, let's ride this out.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
gonna
they try to break in.
we're
They
gonna
try to
party.
break in.
We're gonna
Me too.
And that's how twins happen.
Yep. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
You were going to be a Leo?
I don't know. I was, yeah, that's interesting.
Lots to reflect on with that.
There's actually a lot to reflect on. September 6th. So if I had been 2 weeks earlier,
Yeah.
then maybe I would have been a different astrological sign, changing my life
Everything would have
completely.
been different.
Everything would have been different. I would have sort of magical powers.
Yeah.
What would it mean for me to have been?
5 days late.
Everyone here's late.
Everyone's late.
Whoa.
Whoa.
And you three are kind of a lot late.
Yeah, we're
Like
kind of
2
a little
weeks,
bit
1
late.
week.
I think I
5
would have been a
days.
Cancer.
Well,
Yeah.
They should change cancer. One
I was
of
gonna
them they
say-
should change.
Henry was born 2 astrological signs early.
so wow, that's a
Oh.
lot.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like his astrologically he's almost all three.
Yeah, because he's a Gemini.
Yeah.
Like Becky and myself, which is I guess insane. But he was supposed to be whatever Zach is. A Leo?
Whatever Zach is. And I guess I was supposed to be a Leo, but I'm a Virgo.
No, because you were September.
I would have been an August baby,
Late. You would have been mid to late August.
which would have been what?
I think still.
It's still Leo.
Yeah,
Oh,
Leo.
Leo's like 2 months long.
I'm the
Dang.
beginning. Here, let's
Oh,
look
you're
at
at the
this.
very
season.
beginning of Leo.
Leo season would be
time.
wild.
August 22nd, July 23rd to August 22nd.
Guess you would have made it in.
I would have been a pop just in
Yeah.
there as a Leo. But I don't know what that would have meant for me because you're a Leo.
Yeah,
So what does that? I guess that would
Leos
be-
love themselves.
yeah.
I think you have plenty of it.
I got too much of that already.
I think you'd be
feel.
less organized, but more.
How
like,
is that
like,
possible?
Mine's
Me?
pretty organized.
Oh, excuse me.
Have you seen his cabling?
Fucking excuse me. I actually am extremely organized about the shit that I deem to care about.
Yeah.
Which is true about a lot of things in my life. But yeah, I would say actually the most organized part of me is my technological organization.
Oh, yeah.
Anything digital, highly organized, highly methodical.
Miles helped me build a mechanical keyboard.
Exactly correct. Although like dishes, I'm not that good at.
Yeah.
Oh, I can load a dishwasher like nobody's ever seen.
Yeah, that's the
I
key.
can get the whole kitchen in there.
You can get-
Wow.
I
That's
actually-
a special skill.
I don't want to actually. You know what? I won't burn the advice early.
Okay.
I won't
Thank
burn
God. Ooh, listeners, stay
it.
tuned.
Stay tuned. I'm not going to burn it.
I know normally you jump out about 20 minutes in, but today,
It's going to be really nice.
Here's the thing about me, I eat every single day. And every week, I run out of groceries. And meal planning, grocery shopping, and cooking, that can be a huge hassle. But Hungry Root makes it possible to spend less time doing all of that and more time doing what you love. It takes so much mental energy for me to think of what I want to eat, to think of a recipe, to go shopping. I would rather be doing almost anything else. I got my Hungry Root. I made this little stir-fry action. It was easy to make. It was delicious. It was healthy and nutritious. Hungry Root is the easiest way to eat healthy. They send you fresh, high-quality groceries, simple, delicious recipes, and essential supplements. Hungry Root gets to know your personal health goals, dietary restrictions, favorite foods, how much time you want to spend cooking, and more. Each order is fully customizable, so you can take their suggestions or choose anything you want. Right now, Hungry Root is offering the Tripod listeners 40% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/tripod to get 40% off your first delivery and get your free veggies. That's hungryroot.com/tripod. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you. Okay, real talk. We've all been there, feeling like we're burning cash with those rent checks. It's frustrating, right? But here's the deal. Built Rewards has figured out a way to make rent more rewarding. Say goodbye to the money bonfire and hello to a renter's revolution with Built. Built is breaking ground as a neighborhood rewards program that hooks you up with points on your rent every month. Pay your rent and watch the Built points roll in. Use points to jet off on a dream vacation. Put your points toward a flight or hotel stay with over 500 airlines and over 700,000 hotels and properties. You can also use your points to book fitness studio classes, redeem them towards future rent payment. They are designed to meet your lifestyle. Pay rent hassle-free through the Built Rewards app. Your rent game just got a major upgrade. Built points have been consistently ranked the highest value point currency by the Points Guy and Bankrate. Earn points by paying rent right now when you go to joinbuilt.com/tripod. That's joinbilt.com/tripod. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent ya. Joinbuilt.com/tripod to start earning points with your rent payments today.
It relates to my segment, which is I am now a football girl.
This is huge.
I know.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And so here's what happened. And I have the craziest, this is so Shakespearean drama.
Wow.
So I went to a football game. My dad explained how it is played, which is huge. That really helped.
Yeah, that
helps
probably
to
helped
know.
enjoy it.
Yeah. For example, I didn't realize there's two teams, offense and defense.
Oh, there's two parts of each team.
Yes.
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 So he's explaining it to me. And then
Right, different players throw the ball versus different players try and stop the ball.
Yes.
Can I be honest about something?
Didn't know that. Yep, right?
Yeah,
Didn't know
there's the
that.
offensive line. You never heard of the offensive linemen?
I've heard of that, but
Why
I
would
just-
they call them offensive linemen and not
Well, I
linemen?
heard of that and I knew they were probably there, but then I was kind of like, yeah, but when they're on the defense, they're just kind of around as well.
And you know what? That's
Yeah.
a fair assumption because basketball, baseball, soccer, it's all one group of people that does all the things.
And I've
Yeah.
been to many football games.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Well, yeah. Thank you.
So it also looked up, you have to look up the journalism beforehand. So this story of this game that I saw was the quarterback for the Broncos is locked. He's Bo Nix, done. And Zach is a football guy, which I think is funny.
It is funny. But I'm with you, by the way. I love the narratives.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
there's like some soap
It's a
opera
soap
stuff
opera.
going on. So
Yeah.
please continue.
So there's three quarterbacks total, and one is locked, done.
Yeah.
Then they're trying to figure out who's the second one of the two.
Oh, you went to a preseason game?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the drama of like who's gonna make the team.
Who's gonna make the team?
fun.
And so this guy Zach Wilson was playing when I saw him, and then so afterwards I look up Bo Nix, Zach Wilson, and Jarrett Stidham.
Oh my
They're
God.
all
you are saying names that even football diehards don't know.
Rainie, when Rainie goes in, she goes deep.
goes deep into one corner.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson was a first-round pick for the Jets and was notoriously awful, but then also had a rumor that he slept with teammates' moms. And
Zach, you took my thing.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I do remember that.
That was what so I looked them all up, and I was like, they're all pretty hot. But they're all also engaged / married / have kids.
Yeah.
Which I'm like,
They get into God.
interesting. Yeah,
They
that
marry
makes sense.
supermodels too.
Yeah.
Football
Yeah.
players just marry supermodels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they
that's
all
true.
have a very specific look. So yeah, then so I was texting my friend, they're all hot, but why are they all married? That is not good for the story for me.
Yeah, sure. You were at the football game trying to sort of find love.
Yeah.
I mean, it was preseason. Who's gonna make the team?
Who's gonna make the team?
It's not.
He's there to cheer them on.
You're not trying to find love. You're more just open to the opportunities, and sometimes they fall into your lap.
And what was great is at the game she discovered there were twice the amount of players she thought there were.
It's a love story, baby. Just say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are like some random also people on the sidelines. But so
yeah, there's also people.
But I was like, which I do think is interesting that they're all married because like Harry Styles, part of his appeal is he's single.
Is he?
Well, they keep it under wraps because like it's like fun for him to be single because you like are like, oh, it could be me.
Yeah.
And
Do you think that the NFL could expand their appeal
Yes.
by having single bachelor bad boys?
yes, but I'm also like this whole thing is a narrative. So I'm like maybe that serves them to be married at 22.
I'll tell you that not many of them are hot.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think of football players as hot.
They're getting into dozens of car crashes every game.
Yeah.
It is
Well, I kind of want it to be like, because when I went to college football, I found it to be extremely fun.
Yeah.
Like college football, and like you sit in the student section, people are like,
The energy's insane.
the energy's insane.
Everyone's kind of drunk.
It's so you're wasted. It's 10 a.m. People are blacking out. It's awesome. Like that was really what got me into the thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like I wanted the QBs to like get on a WWE mic and be like, we're gonna fucking crush this team, and everyone's like, yeah.
Well, didn't your high school have pep rallies where they did that? For the football team did that?
No, we didn't have football because I went to a tiny Quaker high school. So it was like
You gotta wear shoes to play football.
You gotta wear shoes to play football. But it's like we had soccer and stuff, but I think football was just like
you don't have to wear shoes to play soccer.
That's interesting. I guess you could play
I don't
barefoot.
know. There's lots of people who play soccer barefoot, just culturally.
A lot of professional athletes.
Not professionals, no. But we definitely Smith County High School, Tennessee, football Friday was big. Like the whole town goes to the football game, even if you don't have kids playing, right? That's the
wild.
only thing to do on Friday night. So everyone's there.
That's fun.
But Friday during the day is like a wash. Like work, like there will be an hour to an hour and a half pep rally, and the entire day's class schedule gets shortened to accommodate the pep rally. And the pep rally is the coach being in. It's like, Smyrna is coming into the Owls nest tonight. And we're going to show what we're made of. And
That's
everybody
awesome.
fucking screams. And then like one of the players gets on the mic. So, last week when Jefferson County was here, we did not play our best. But we're going to take what we did wrong last year. We're not making that same mistake again tonight. And it is like...
That's awesome.
It was so... And I'm in the pep band.
Yeah.
And like literally our band director's like, at the end of the speech, he's like, go. And we start playing the fight song. And everyone's like, yeah. And then two guys with flags of the mascot and the school logo start running around the gym. The cheerleaders are flipping. Like,
Incredible.
It is insane.
It's theater.
And all like the basketball players, even though it's not basketball night, they're dressed in their basketball pep rally uniform, which is like always like a tie.
This is exhilarating.
The whole school is like there for it. And even the kids who like obviously don't care are like, well, at least it's an hour 15 that I'm not in class.
Yeah, I'll go.
So I might as well hoot and holler, or they'll like boo hilariously, or like, somebody go, penis. Like it's just a blast.
Yeah.
I miss that.
I honestly, I never had that. Like we didn't have pep rallies, but that type of human bond, like your team against their team, I do respect, and I think it's fun.
And we did it for basketball too. I mean, it happened all year long.
That's
probably once a week, the entire the first half of the school year.
Yeah.
It's also nice if you have that friend that is the tailgater. I'll never be the one to put in the effort, but there are people that show up hours early and bring full barbecue setup. Sometimes they got smokers. These are feasts. And when you go, like, I don't really have it here, but when I go back to New York, when we're seeing Giants game, we go early and like, okay, we got to hit this one, got to hit this one, got to hit this one.
That's
and
fun.
You're staking out your friends, and you go and they feed you too much meat.
Yeah.
But it's a delight. It's a whole game before the game.
Yeah, I did one. I went, Ryan Garcia and I and Jared Popkin went to a Rams game. He's the
one. Ryan Garcia is the one. He'd be our.
And we did it.
Yeah.
And we went to the Rams game and like we brought stuff, but we didn't like cook anything. But we brought a lot of food. And then we walked around and people were like, hey, you want a burger? Like they're just like,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm cooking this. You want any? and it's amazing.
It didn't occur to me until the season started that, oh, right, Taylor Swift is still going to be part of the NFL this year, of course. And what's so funny to see is on the Taylor Swift Reddit now, they're talking like your 50-year-old dad about in the middle of games. They're like, if they don't kick this field goal, the team's cooked. Like
it's a psyop, man.
They've gotten so good. They know more about Swifties know more about football than my friends who've been watching it for 20 years.
Wow.
It is so good.
That's culture coming together in
Yeah.
a fun
Beautiful.
way.
I do miss college football. Because in the South it's so huge.
Oh, dude,
like,
it's so fun too.
all my Southern friends will be like, "Oh yeah, the Saturday, like college football is way more important than professional football to them," which is like kind of bizarre.
But I get it.
Yeah.
Like that, honestly, I do get it. Like, I think people who, to me, the narrative, like you guys were saying, is like the most exciting part of any sport. And like, I don't watch sports at home, but if my friends are like, we're going to go watch this game at this thing, I'll go and be like, I'm invested because you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
And with college football, it's like, you know, I went to UNC Chapel Hill, big public university. Our rival is Duke, evil private university. It does, in a lot of ways, feel like class warfare, like a big public university versus this like private institution that is a lot smaller, that's known to be snooty, that's like a mini Ivy. The rivalry was so intense. And like the feeling of wins and losses, it would affect the whole campus. So like after a win, people would be like, basically high-fiving strangers as you walk to class.
Yes.
Yeah.
That happens with professional, like everything. At the end of a good game, everybody who's on the same team like is hugging.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You don't have to know them. You can high five people. If there's like a home run that's important and you're next to three strangers, they're like, yeah, and they're just turning around in their seat, high fiving anyone who will look at them.
Yeah,
and it is beautiful. We should go to I want to go to a college game.
I would love
right?
to go to a college game.
That'd be so fun.
That would be fun.
I don't know that I've ever been
to a college game.
Yeah,
I haven't been to a big college game.
I went to my sister went to Lehigh. They have a big rivalry, Lehigh Lafayette, every year, and it was this day of like wake up 7 a.m., start drinking. You're pre-gaming. Everyone's so wasted, and by the time we got to the football stadium, she goes, "Oh, I forgot my tickets in my room. Oh well," and then we just hung out at the tailgate, and it was like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
like,
right.
The game was incidental to the day.
Yeah.
Totally. My dorm was across from the UNC football stadium. Also, our football team was like notoriously pretty terrible, but we had a great basketball program, but the football team was not good. But my dorm was across from the stadium, so I would wake up on game days to the sounds of like the fight song and people cheering and stuff, and I would be like, okay, and I would just go out and people were partying and doing whatever. It was incredible.
Yeah.
That type of unity,
the energy,
like, is one of the main things I miss about college. It's just like that there is something beautiful, and obviously, I'm sure like a lot of listenerships like doesn't pay attention to sports. I don't pay attention to sports, but I have such a fondness for that element of it.
Yeah. All right, we got to get to our segment.
Oh,
we got to get to our segment.
Our titular segment, which is 10 years.
10 years of try.
10 years of try.
It's 10. We're 10.
This isn't a great vagina.
Oh my.
That's the vagina costume. So you found the old.
I like your voice in this. You sound so young.
I'm not used to having lines. I'm just used to kind of like rambling adorably.
Imagine how high your voice must have had to been to be pitched down to that.
Yeah, right, because that is still
I'm not used to having lines.
I'm not used to. Was that from a BuzzFeed video? What was that one?
These must be.
That was from Squad Wars, which is a forgotten
I was thinking like, would that be Squad Wars? Because that is when we had lines.
Yeah.
They gave us lines.
Have you ever done a director's commentary on Squad Wars?
Oh my gosh, that's a great idea.
I feel like you should.
But then we'd have to watch it.
Yeah.
Have you never seen it? You've seen
No, I've seen it. It just was such a. Okay, I mean, you talk about the ups and downs of the last 10 years. We're starting with a down. That was a scenario where another production company was installed on top of us to teach us how to make what we were making. And then also there were all of these format twists on it where there were so many cooks in that kitchen and we had very little control. And they also tried to, I say I'm not used to having lines. They
gave us a script.
They gave us a script to be unscripted. And it's like, this is not how that works.
Yeah.
You can't put all this formality and all this rigid structure and then say, go make an unscripted video.
Right.
And then there were all of these things of us filming like the like walking up, and then we'd be like, all right, now we're going to go do this over there. And we'd walk and do it. And then I was like, no, guys, just fucking cut. You don't need you just get out at the biggest laugh. And now we're into the next scene.
Historically, the worst example of this is they spent 2.5 hours setting up a shot only to lose the light and have to reset it up completely different. And we were like, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
This is just walking up to the pool.
Right.
They'll know we're at the pool.
Right.
The audience doesn't need to see us arrive and say, whoa, a pool.
And this was a day that we were doing synchronized swimming. And the whole time we're saying, guys, this doesn't matter.
Right.
We're here to try. You need to get us in the pool because we have to practice because we have hours to learn this really intense routine. And then as a result, the sunset, we were in the water. I remember someone got like too cold from being in the water and like had to like sit out for an hour.
And too much muscle exhaustion
It
because
just
it was like swimming for like
you
4 hours.
fucking fucks.
Oh, yeah.
And all of that led to making Second Try because there were so many experiences like that again and again and again where these other people who are traditional Hollywood, we know how to make your stuff better. No, you don't. You suck.
Well, they just don't know how to make our stuff. And it's so weird because
dude, I'm still so salty about it.
Totally. It makes sense.
Yeah, that one really sucked. It was just so overcomplicated,
right?
And it made the product so bad. But this idea that Hollywood's constantly trying to make digital and have that digital like magic, but the magic actually comes from kind of being scrappy.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that, so they'd be like, okay, well, we have to do all this extra work, we have to do all this stuff, and we need like. They constantly ask questions like, well, how did you get there? And how will we decide the winner? I'm like, no one will care. just pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The winner will be who did it best, and it kind of will be objectively obvious.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's also like at that time in YouTube when you made Squad Wars, I feel like streaming was people on YouTube were like, what if we make streaming content on YouTube? And I think that now it feels more like people are like, well, no, we're going to make internet content that is good. We're not going to try to make it something that could fit on this other thing.
I think that era was looking down on digital.
Totally.
It was saying, well, clearly there's an audience here, but the things they're watching aren't good at all. So if we bring our great talents down from the golden hill of Hollywood, then we can give this legitimacy. And that's not what the audiences wanted.
And we made Squad Wars for a subscription branch of YouTube.
Oh, yeah, YouTube Red at the time?
Yeah, which had became YouTube Premium, which then they realized, I think people just want to watch YouTube without ads.
Totally. Exactly.
That's actually what people would pay money for.
Yes,
not exclusive content.
I think it's something that we still run into is you want to keep things scrappy. You don't want to have too much formality unless the format specifically calls for it.
Yeah, sure.
So like Without a Recipe calls for a formality in how it's filmed, but then we still find those times that it feels scrappy and off the cuff, etc. If you put that formality on I don't know, a try video or an adventure video, now there's this feeling of distance between you, the person on screen, and the audience. Every layer of production risks creating a distance. And I think the closeness and the intimacy and that feeling of something being homemade is part of why people turn to YouTube. That feeling that me on camera, on screen, I'm the same person that is crafting this edit and what is being filmed. I think that's part of the inherent appeal.
So, all right. So you guys, the first video you made was Guys Try Ladies Underwear, right? That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
To the day.
Victoria's Secret underwear.
Victoria's Secret underwear.
Yeah.
So now we're 10 years deep. You've made all these different waves of content. Try Guys have come and gone. And you left your mega giant.
Hey, shout out to Milo.
Shout out to Milo. Yeah, those hot Try Guys for the thing. And then you started your own company. That company's been through ups and downs. You started your own streaming service. 10 years from now, what do you think or hope you might be making?
Well, I'll be 47.
Wow.
Right. That's wild.
I hope that, I hope I'm still making cool stuff that I'm invested in and get joy from. I also hope I don't have such a rigorous schedule that I am, because then I'll have an 11-year-old. So that'll be cool.
That's exciting.
Like, he'll be developing a real like sense of self and personality. And, but I still would love to have some sort of more like proper funny comedy talk show thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has to look like a late night with somebody type show, but something that scratches that itch of being able to do funny bits, meet cool people, have funny songs, and have excitement around the day. Honestly, when we did Keith Tonight, I still think the idea of like me not knowing what the show is great. And I think someone else has done a show like that before. But it was so fun for me to do, and it felt like it was still like a try, right? Because you're hosting something where I didn't know what the script was, I didn't know who the guest was, I didn't know what the bits were, and it gave this like sense of energy and fun that I love to get on set. And now you only get on set like in Try Guys videos, I feel like, because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. That's cool.
I
Like
don't
a
know,
repeatable format that where you get to still flex your creative thing, but honestly, it's like there's slightly more predictability in your personal life. You're able to be like, there's going to be a show, it's going to loosely look like this, instead of being like, we're doing 10 different shows of different amounts of travel.
Building a company.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know. 10 years so far. I mean, 2 years might be easier.
2 years.
5 years is even hard to imagine. Yeah, 2 years is hard to imagine. But Keith and I had a moment this past weekend where we're like, damn, I can't believe Second Try is already a year old. Oh no, it's 2.5 months, 3 months? Okay, yeah. It just, there's so much happening so fast. I mean, from the beginning, I've just been trying to find my way back behind camera, because I think in a producer and a director role, in an editor role, that is where I'm ultimately the happiest, and performance has just been a way to control that end product.
That's cool.
So I don't know that I'm going to be that interesting to watch into my 40s. Certainly not in the same formats. I think if I'm making the same types of videos that I'm making now, it's going to be less and less fun to watch. At a certain point, it might get sad. If we're trying to do the same things that I was doing in my 20s, in my 30s. So I hope that we continue to experiment and find those new shows. Like, Without a Recipe didn't exist a couple years ago, and now it's the most popular show we make. Eat the Menu didn't exist.
Oh, that's cool.
And now, and then we made Escape the Kitchen. That wasn't even, we didn't even have that idea a year ago.
Yeah.
It was not even a twinkle in our eye.
Yeah.
And now that's the most watched thing on Second Try. Number 1, 3, and 5, I think. It's 3 of the top 5 episodes.
Wow.
So, and same with Trolley Problems. That's also all over the top 10. So I hope to continue to experiment and find those new formats. But that's also kind of what Try Guys is. Try Guys was every episode. It was a format of changing formats. Every episode got to be a different show, got to have a different genre and editing style. And so it's allowed us, that's my favorite thing about it, and what's kept me going is that it has allowed us to do different things, so many different things, and experiment wildly.
Yeah.
But obviously the cast, I think, is going to be a big part of that. Creating something that is an open door for really talented people to come in. And I think we'll have a Second Try cast. I also think that in success, we're just going to build a roster of great formats that people hopefully want to come in on.
Yeah.
Already we're having people who are, staples of other digital companies or YouTube channels. They are either coming on our shows or saying, I want to come on your shows.
Right.
And that's really cool. That means a lot to us. And if we can just create that destination for people to come do something really fun and trust in our team, production and editors to put them into a product that they wouldn't be able to make on their own, like that is, I'm so thrilled if that's what we get to become.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Where do you want us to be in 10 years?
Where do I want you to be in 10 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm sort of in my business, because I look at you guys, obviously you're very successful, you're deep into it. I'm at such a high vibration right now. I actually wonder if you guys still feel this too, but like for yourself, I feel like so much of running a business, like I run my own business. I'm like, we're doing a tour, we're doing like, I got the podcast, making videos, whatever. I feel like I'm at such a high vibration when I wake up to when I go to sleep, because there's like a million different things that I'm like, all right, got to do this, like got this meeting, got to think about this thing, got to send this off, whatever. Did that vibration, when you started the new company, I imagine there was like a lot of that vibration. Did that ever lessen? Do you still feel like you're in it? Or some days or weeks bigger than ever? How do you operate that level of owning something?
This is a funny thing, because so I had COVID a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's going around out there. Everybody be safe. And luckily I didn't get it that bad, but I couldn't be here for like a couple weeks because it got into my house. Henry got it. We're all fine. Nothing. Don't worry about us. But I couldn't do my normal responsibilities.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, there's always so much work to be done that I just did like work of stuff that I could do for like the next month.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I was like, I guess I'll just make 10 thumbnails. Just because I know that in the next 2 weeks I'm not going to have time or to do other things. And I also it gave me time to do stuff that I don't have time to do. I was like trying to think like, oh, what are some other strategies or revenue strategies I can look at right now?
Yeah.
But like, there's always so much to do that it can be overwhelming. So I don't know if it's like a buzz or if it's like a ringing.
Yeah, no, the ringing, it's
in
like
my ear.
Yeah.
Because I've like got a to-do list all the time that's just like, you never clear it. You just add stuff to it. And sometimes I'll even put something on the list and do it immediately. I'll be like, you need to do this.
So yeah.
And then I'll do it right that moment just to be able to take it off because almost putting it on the list allows me to do it. There's just so much. And I think it's actually gotten harder over time because we have grown and we do more things and we're balancing and juggling more stuff. And there's always something, I'm sure tomorrow, something that I am ill-equipped to understand and we'll have to learn how to understand will happen. There's just always something going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. It's hard. It's hard. Yeah, it's challenging. I don't know.
I felt like I was vibrating at a very high level for the last year.
Yeah.
And then I came back from my vacation and the last week and a half has been hell. Like I am so immediately burnt out and overwhelmed.
Zach texted me last night, I'm burnt to a crisp.
My brain just feels juiced. And really what it is that I feel like I'm behind every single day.
Yeah.
One meeting goes over by 10 minutes, which means that the next meeting's over by 20 minutes. And then something got moved up and I'm just in catch-up mode. I have this to-do list that I'm not able to get to any day, any week.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately it is not getting easier. And I've been thinking a lot about the macro versus micro. We have been in macro mode. We've been really big picture thinking. What is the direction of the company? What is second try? What shows are we making? Like thinking about all of this groundwork. But as a result, I'm then not able to spend as much time in the micro, which is what prop are we putting on this side table? What stinger am I putting on this edit? What's what are the micro details that I really honestly love the most? The things that I think that fine care that I think is what makes our stuff great. And it's just a challenge of where do you spend your time. So I'm trying my best to navigate it. I'm having a little bit of that welcome back shock.
Sure.
And I'm trying desperately to get into the rhythm again.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I've got a question of, since it's 10 years, and there have been lots of eras of this company, lots of intersections.
Taylor who? Sorry, go on.
So we're going to do a speed round. Some of these are going to be hard to do a speed round, but...
Just to kind of just apologize again for that.
For the Taylor Who?
Yeah.
I thought it was good because of the Eras tour.
Yeah, no, that was kind of the point.
I thought that was
nice. Oh, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a reference to Taylor Lorenz, who's in one of our try videos. And I was like, that can't be
the
the
reference.
reference.
She is?
Yeah, she's in the final episode.
Yeah.
That's
When
fun.
We're angels.
That's really fun.
That was a fangirl moment for me, for sure.
Yeah.
I love Taylor Lorenz.
Did you have anyone you considered a mentor at BuzzFeed?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there was so many. A direct mentor, maybe less so.
Inspirational individuals,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, many people that I learned from. I mean, one of the heads there at the time, Andrew Gauthier, is someone that I credit with so much of my understanding of the digital landscape. And Ella Milnishenko, who brought me in, she had such a savvy and understanding for those building blocks of viral media. But then there were just so many people that we were bouncing off of, like neurons firing.
Dimitri Simakis.
So talented.
Who's what a brilliant artist. Abe Froman Greenwald, is that his last name? He's a documentarian, but he's also just genuinely sweet man. He's been working on Big Mouth in some capacity for the last for a while. Now he works on something else, but he's just a lovely guy, and I just really enjoyed working with him.
I probably learned from people that I don't even realize I learned from.
Yeah.
That was one of the joys, was being able to just be inspired by the people around you. And we try and do that still, right? Like we try and surround ourselves with people here that bring some insight, some savvy, some experimentation so that we can find something. I honestly, I can't say this enough to every single person that works here, but if you're not trying something new at least once a month, then we're going backwards, right? We have to always be experimenting. And then we also have the broader YouTube community now to look around and see what are people doing well and how can we take that and run with it.
All right, so you struck gold at BuzzFeed. Do you think that, like, it's kind of like a skill or luck question? Like, what do you think in the internet landscape helped your specific brand at the time or culturally?
Yeah, yes, it is skill and luck. We have our success repeatedly has coincided with different moments in media. But then I think there was skill is earned over time. I think there was hard work that we put into each of those opportunity points. So the types of videos that we were making 10 years ago were clearly in algorithmic vogue. We had the savvy to recognize that, to iterate on that, and to bust our asses to make and grow. When we 6 years ago, made our own company, we similarly were taking advantage of trends and moments and things of success, but also then using our gained skill to cultivate community and start to grow that and to think about how we were, for the first time, building that Try Guys community and feeding that audience. And then over time, those skills have had to evolve and change. Even now, like you could say that creators carving out their own subscription models and places where you can interact directly with fans, that is a newer trend, I guess. And so now it's, okay, we're recognizing that and putting in the hard work to hopefully deliver the best version of that possible.
Hell yeah, King.
Keith, do you have anything or should we move on?
Well, I think you should probably, this is a debate format, right? So now you have to disagree.
Yeah, you've got 2 minutes on the clock.
I disagree. I think Zach's a stupid little liar. I do stand by it. I've said this before. I think that success is skill and or talent plus opportunity. There are lots of people who were, I think, just as skilled and talented at us in other places, or maybe at different times, but they didn't have the opportunity. We just had opportunity, but also took great advantage of that opportunity. And I was kind of thinking as you're talking, like we made a ton of bad videos.
Oh yeah,
too. We didn't just make the Try Guys, and the Try Guys also wasn't always good. I made lots of garbage that I thought was good. And then I put it out and it wasn't. Or I made things that were good and they didn't perform because of whatever was going on algorithmically. Or maybe they weren't good, but I still think they were good. But you just made so much that you couldn't even think about something you made 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Because you were thinking about what you were making next week. And that constant challenging of yourself to make something new, and also you'd make something that was basically people speaking to camera intercut, or maybe you're making a sketch, and then the next day you're making something else, and you're making so many different things at once, and the little elements of those videos would kind of bleed into each other, and you would learn things. And I was 3 or 4 years in, and an intern might show me something I didn't know, and I would learn something new that day. So I was learning every day from every person I worked with, but I was also teaching people every day. So it was this really great blending of knowledge, and it was kind of exponential growth that would happen some days and weeks.
So opportunity and recognizing the potential of opportunity. We have Ash Perez's show coming out really soon, and I just had this brain blast memory of being at BuzzFeed years and years ago. This was maybe 9 years ago now, and I had this sliding doors moment. I could go down one road, fork in the road. I was offered basically, do you want to go into the scripted department, or do you want to double down on Try Guys?
Oh.
I came into BuzzFeed, into digital, wanting to do scripted. I wanted to write, I wanted to direct, I wanted to tell stories. And so it felt like, well, this is that opportunity. And Ash, we went on a walk around kind of the little BuzzFeed mini campus, and I remember him saying 2 things. First of all, look at who BuzzFeed is paying. It's not the people behind the camera, it's the people in front of the camera. If you want power at this company, if you want opportunity, if you want success, you got to make yourself indispensable. And unfortunately, the people whose faces are on the screen are the ones who were getting. So that was, but also look at the paths. One has a pretty realized potential ceiling. Like scripted and digital is hard, it's small, and then maybe you use this to then go and try and pitch a movie. You're going into that system. Whereas Try Guys is this unrealized potential. Who knows what that could be? Mm-hmm. Go for the lotto ticket. Take the leap. Take the risk, because if that doesn't work, you can always go back to try the scripted. Mm-hmm. But who knows where this thing will lead? And I wish that I could say that I had the brilliance of mind to recognize the opportunity ahead of me, but I don't know that I did. I think Ash was a big part of that, of saying, like, do you see that we can't see where this is going. Try it.
No, I think that's
and it is like a philosophy of like saying yes to opportunities, even if you're not sure you can do them. Now, there's a big opportunity, you fall flat on your face, and you never get to do that again. But like, I was also making like the BuzzFeed red carpet videos, and it was just because they were like, Keith, will you work on a Sunday night and turn the video around in an hour and put it on the internet? And I was like, okay. I was like, I don't know if I can do that. I'm fully not prepared to go talk to celebrities. I barely know any celebrities' names. But I was like, yeah, I can do that. No problem. And they're like, cool, Keith will do it. And then I did it. And I remember I had never even I was like making a thumbnail, but I was texting with AG and like, hey, I've got to get this on. And like, he was the only person on, and to his credit, he was a very hard worker. He was sending me notes at 9 p.m. on Sunday night after the Oscars or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But it was a very surreal moment of me being alone in the BuzzFeed office, working completely by myself to get a video onto the internet. Again, as an intern.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
The part of this, though, that I think you're missing, and maybe you can't see it about yourself, or at least not at the time, is that you're also, one, hardworking, but a good guy. And so all of these opportunities that you go like, well, why did they give it to me? I was in it. It's because it's like, well, Keith's cool. I want to get. So being a good person and a person that people like is a crucial part of this, because that's really all you have. It's as time goes on, who do you want to work with? Who do you want to give opportunities to? Who do you enjoy collaborating with? And then honestly, who do you want to pick up when they fall? Because everyone fails.
And they were going to fire me. And then Eugene was like, you can't fire Keith. He makes all these things for you.
They were going to fire? Why were they going to fire you?
They just weren't going to keep me on as internship was ending. And they
had a quota of how many people they could take each time.
Sure. And they were basically like, well, what do you think about Keith? Because we're not sure if we're going to keep him. And Eugene and I were not actually like close yet. We'd known each other for a few months. And he was like, you're going to not keep him? But he makes all those videos. And he works like all the time.
Yeah, right.
Seems like it'd be crazy not to keep Keith.
All right, so I was joking about this, but now we are going to do a 1 minute on the clock for each of these, because we got to get through them. Okay, so
Good
ready?
luck.
So it's going to be for Zach. Okay, so you guys hired Rachel first.
Yeah.
How late in did you hire her? Like how after starting the company, or did you do it as you started the company?
We hired Rachel week 1. Mm-hmm. Next question.
Okay, and then Miles was second employee.
No, I was employee 4.
Yeah.
We hired Devlin to be our editor. Cassie Moby. Shout out.
5.
Who is
a girl who no longer works here, Rachel, the coordinator at the time.
Oh, she was there before you. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll skip this question because it sounds like it was like I was gonna ask about hiring and growing the business, but it was like obvious you just needed people, like you knew exactly what you needed.
Okay, I can answer this. 1 minute on the clock and go. We hired Rachel immediately. We had a very small nest. Basically, we pooled money together out of our savings and said, here are the essential roles we need for this slate of videos up ahead. And then we assumed at that point that we were going to be editing most of it. The end.
Keith?
Yeah, I'm just going to go off of what we invested. What I would say would be not very much money for a company, but a whole lot of money for an individual.
Oh, yeah.
Especially at that time of our life. And yeah, it was just like, okay, this is as much as we can afford to do. And if we can't make money within 4 months, it's going to that, well,
then that's
this is the risk. But I think we can do it.
Yeah.
All right, Miles.
Yeah.
How have Zach and Keith changed since you met them?
Oh my God. How has Zach and Keith changed since I've met them? I mean, we've become much closer. Like when I first started working, it was very like, I didn't know you guys very well at all. I was truly just like an employee at a company. And over the course of years, as employees fell away and I remained, I think that
we were the best men at your wedding.
And you were
right?
the best
So
man at my
it's-
wedding. I would say probably, yeah, you both have become I think you both have become less focused on the individual wins and losses and more focused on the wins and losses over the whole course of the war. Which I think is a good thing. I think that like everything really, really mattered, especially at the beginning of the company. And it was like, this video has to hit, and like, oh man, it didn't hit, and this and that, and you know, and maybe this is just optically to me, but I feel like you started looking at the bigger picture more and more over the course of the time that I've known you, and I think it's been a benefit.
There's a video that Maddie made that has like for 10 years, it's us 10 years ago, us now, and it is pretty jarring.
Wow, I gotta watch that.
We're little babies. I'm a buggy looking baby boy, and it's the glow up is great to see.
Yeah.
I think I've also learned. I mean, I've learned so much. I've learned leadership. I've learned to prioritize the big picture. I've also learned how to keep my eyes on my own paper. I think that early, you think back to those BuzzFeed days, it was very easy, even in early Try Guys days, easy to be jealous and to compare yourself to others.
Yeah.
And so it's an important learning to realize that your success, someone else's success has nothing to do with yours, that someone else's success can be good for you. I'm truly at a place where when I see people getting opportunities that were the dreams that I had, I have friends now who are making movies, making TV shows, and it's only excitement for them, which I know was not the case when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, so you're a boss now at a much bigger company than the smaller company that you used to be a boss for. What would you tell yourself as you started being a boss for like 5 people now that you've been a boss for like years?
Very challenging question, because the things that I know now don't even apply to my boss level at that point because of how big the company's changed. Other than that's really tough. I think it's about like concentrating on making a really positive work environment that also still excites people and have them be as invested in what you're making as you are. Because I think that can be a challenge of when someone comes into something that's already built. It's like, how do you make them understand that they are actually just as important to the success of that thing as you are?
Yeah, get a team with people that you believe in their talent, and then give them runway. I think I'm still trying to learn this lesson to not step in and micromanage or to catch people when they fall, to let them fall. And it's like Henry learning how to walk. He's got to fall on his bum a couple times. And
he's got to spit out that thing he found on the floor. You can only pull out that thing out of his mouth so many times. You'd be like, oh, did you put something gross in your mouth? Maybe you want to spit it out. And when you first do it, you got to yank it out of his mouth. But then he's like, oh, I'm like, spit it out. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll spit it out.
That's being a boss.
So as performers, I feel like you guys have changed a lot. Was there a note that somebody gave you that sticks with you?
Shut up, Zach. I'm kidding.
Is there a note?
Shut the hell up.
And Miles, I want to know your answer to it.
A note that I received?
Yeah.
That I've heeded?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Too many to count. As a performer, I think that probably like the note I found as a performer is like, let it happen. Don't force it. I think. Because I feel like that was like when I was younger, I feel like I'd really try to I feel like I've developed my sense of humor. I mean, I had a sense of humor before I worked here, obviously, but doing hundreds of hours of podcasts, I feel like the thing that I learned most was like, let it happen. And I think that the podcast had become more and more that. And if you listen to the early episodes, it's like people trying to make a joke. And some of those jokes are really funny. But I feel like the more the podcast has gone on, it's like, let the vibe become funny versus trying to force it.
Yeah.
Yeah, early in podcasts too, my job was like to manage the outline.
Yeah.
And that just then meant that I was over controlling of the conversation in a way that was not good for anyone and not a good listening experience. Yeah, I don't know.
Next question.
Okay.
Yeah, that's challenging.
Next question.
Next question. Last question. What's your leadership philosophy?
I've said it before. It's choose a direction and then help everyone row in the same direction. I think
That's nice.
Be a good person. I think it's been helpful when we share the why behind our goals and get everyone feeling like we're working towards the same cause. And the why is always going to be the most powerful driver as opposed to what, as opposed to how. What is the why? that is influencing all of the decisions here?
For me, it's identify what people are good at and give them opportunities to do more of that. And also identify what people are not as good at and see if they want to be better at that. And if they do want to get better at that, help them be better at that. And if they don't, just find more things they are good at and give them those responsibilities rather than setting up someone to fail, like set them up to succeed. Not everybody's good at everything. And sometimes something you bring someone on to do is not what they will actually excel at the most. So how can you reorganize things to make everybody have the best possible runway? But at the same time, if they want to be better at something they're not as good at, help them do that as well. Don't just say like, you're not good at that, don't do that anymore. Unless they really don't want to do that.
I'm trying to make myself less and less important as a leader. And what I mean by that, and what I mean by that is there's so many decision points that have to flow up to Keith and myself. And so I'm trying to compress that space to really empower everyone to make decisions about their own work and to own their domain, to say, I can say, hey, here's where we're going. Here's what's important. Here's why I'm making the decisions I'm making. But I want each person within their domain to say, here's what I think is best for the workflow that I do. Based on the goals that we all have together, it seems silly for me to say, hey, blank, here's how you do your job. I'm not doing the day-to-day that you're doing. So I want someone to feel that power to say, based on the goals that we have together, here's what I think we should do. The less that I'm making decisions about people's day-to-day, I think the more ownership they'll feel, and hopefully the stronger we'll all be together.
Well, lots of advice already, but Miles, can we hit us with the final segment? Advice that'll go for Miles.
It's advice that'll go for Miles. Tune it to your radio station. It's advice that'll go for Miles. Everyone get ready, Miles Nation. Miles Nation, go! It's advice that'll go for Miles. Advice that'll go for Miles.
You absolutely know it. What the fuck is good, Miles Nation?
Good morning.
Yeah!
Whoa. Oh, there he goes. Oh my gosh.
I have a little piece of advice for you guys I think you're going to love. Have you ever wanted to meditate, but it's too boring?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever wanted to get a refreshing sense of self?
Oh, so badly, Miles. I can't wait. I need this advice.
While doing a task that need to be done.
Okay.
Have you ever considered
Doing the dishes high?
not necessarily high, but I do think this would help. Hand washing. So I had an experience the other day where the dishwasher was full of dirty.
Is it really doing the dishes?
Yes. I did it, everybody. The dishwasher was full of dirty dishes and I had to begin it, but there was also dirty dishes in the sink. Because obviously when there's a baby, the meals, and there's so many dishes, and never endless. But I was like, okay, the dishes. Blah. But I was like, let me put on some music.
Yep.
And instead of trying to rush through the dishes, I actively was like, let me just try to enjoy this. Let me just be like, all right, I'm just going to fucking soap these up and kind of get through it and, work with my hands, go one by one, dry them off, put them away, and try to close the kitchen down. And I actually do feel like me just having the thought of like, I'm just going to make this meditation really did boost my mood, and it made doing the dishes easier.
Love this advice.
Great.
Doing something mechanical, I think is really helpful to get into that meditative space. Thinking of it though as I'm going to go meditate while being productive is I actually think is going to help me get over that hump of doing the dishes. I will listen to podcasts while doing the dishes, and I'll find 9 times out of 10 I have not absorbed a single word
100%.
that is being said. It's just a comforting voice of someone that I like to spend time with, hey, maybe we can be that for you. Yeah. But I'll like sometimes I'll be listening to even like a politics podcast, which is not the most soothing. Yeah. But I'll be like, oh, I gotta hit like, back 15 because I didn't hear the last 10 minutes of that.
Dopey.
Yeah, I do the opening and closing shift of the house.
Oh yeah.
Wake up Henry and make him food, but I also like to unload the dishwasher and set up because Becky's going to do all the tasks with him during the day, and then at the end of the day, it's time to clean up the kitchen.
Close down.
So I close down.
Close it down.
Close it down.
And it feels so like I was like, we've had a thing where it's like we've been doing the dishes, but then we have like dishes drying, and I was like, it felt so good to be like, I'm also gonna dry them and put them away.
Oh, you gotta dry those dishes,
and then it's all done. And it was like doing the thing that felt like it required more effort beforehand. Just having it be done actually was less effort.
Yeah.
And it's calming to see the clean space.
It is very calming.
It's almost like it's decluttering your own brain.
Yep. That's right. My brain had dishes in it.
Because when our AC was out, I refer to the house as the wasteland because when it was so hot in there, you'd go in to do a task and then you'd be like, done. There would just like kind of lots of dirty stuff. And then when the AC was working again, I was like, I have to clean this because I can't even think. Yeah, and I'm not a person that normally bothers, but it was such a wasteland that I was like, I've got to start carving into this because 100%. I can't focus.
Hell yeah, King.
All right, Keith, hit us with the official Tripod theme song.
Oh, you got a 10-year special. I'm taking a try. You're going to see all of your favorite guys. It's going to be so fun. So many different shows represented and also special guests. That's it. Tripod.
We have the 10-year special on Second Try live anniversary featuring Zach, Keith, Eugene, a bunch of the Try cast, and some super secret special guests. You can subscribe. We have a birthday sale going on, our biggest sale ever.
Yep.
Or you can just buy a one-time ticket if you just want the special. But subscribers, if you're already subscribed, then you got the special, baby.
Yeah, the special.
It's going to be a blast. secondtry.tv/live.
Did you fart?
Sorry.
Have a good ass week.